revising what we did yesterday, just to understand what were the key highlights. So would anybody like to speak? One point, anything which you find interesting, yes? Yes. So our decisions should be not only considering the humans, but considering all the species of life. Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else? Soil is a living thing, yes. Very good point.
So, Hare Krishna, to take any decision, please do not ignore these things like a spiritual, economic, social and environmental.
Right. So, before we take any decision, there are 4 aspects to be considered, which is spiritual, economical, social and environmental. So if we take any decision without considering all these 4 aspects, there will be unintended consequences. Yes.
Hare Krishna. The importance of maintaining the land with vegetables, some green, to keep the moisture and to keep the earth fertile.
Yes. Yes, Mataji here. Yes, why not?
Model that, sorry. Yeah, so just with this model with the decision making, the 4 factors to be considered, I'm wondering if there is a structure, like if you have one as being a prominent one, or if the 4 factors, like decision making as you are proposing, if it has any structure according to those 4, or a priority sort of listing and anything?
Yeah. So, as we see, we have a context to our life. This is the context which we made for our presentation. So, when we take any decision, first and foremost thing that we have to consider is it should lead us to this context. Are we going towards this context or is it taking us away? Because all the intelligence has to go on before we finalize the context. If the context is wrong, then the decision can never be right. So we have designed a context which suits to our lifestyles. And then coming to your question, that is there any format? So the education system, rather anything we do should be considering all these 4 things, as simple as that. There is no format because everybody can do the project in his own style. So we are not prescribing any methods to do things. We are discussing only principles. So this is a principle. So environment meaning thereby if any species is disturbed, then our decision will have unintended consequences. So likewise. So when we are taking anything from Mother Earth, we have to give it back. That is the economical aspect of our project. Because for now what we understand is extracting from Mother Earth more and more and not giving it back. So the give and take is not happening the way it should have happened. So we discussed the word mining. So what we are doing now, what we see today is not farming but basically mining. We are extracting the energy from the earth. So once we understand these principles more, then it will be very easy to make decisions. It is not that complicated because in our management schools they also teach us decision making processes, but this has nothing to do with it. It is the simplest thing we do in our life. This is how people were living their lives. But because of the conditioning which took us away from this natural lifestyle, so we think that how will we balance these 4 aspects. But it was very natural. So once we progress in the presentation today and tomorrow, it will be more clear how we'll be moving ahead. Right?
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other point anybody would like to share?
Prabhu, one more thing you told, the functions of the cow is to graze.
Right.
And currently cows are grazing the garbage, which is not so dharma. Like cow is now separated from calf, beaten by the uncivilized people and hankering after some grass in the field.
Right. So this is what we are trying to solve, that cow and calf should be connected, cow and Mother Earth should be connected, and this can be done only by a civilized person. So this, if we achieve this, then we are achieving our context. We can solve all the problems or all the symptoms which we see today on the planet, all of them can be solved. So these are the two foundational mistakes which we have done. We have separated the cow and the calf, and we have separated the cow from the land. So if we integrate those two things, then the things will start manifesting. Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, so one more thing is, the more you grow, the more resources and fertility it generates.
Yes.
So the nature is relentless and constantly engaged.
Yes, so this is the highlight of the paradigm, which is Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. So from this we understand that this creation is perfect, it is Purna. But what we have learned is, when we use something, it will diminish. But the Purna paradigm says that when you use something, it will still not diminish, it will still remain the same. This is how this nature was designed by the Lord. But our understanding is totally reverse of that. So that is also there in the beginning, we will discuss that. So I will take these points now. The context for this presentation, we discussed this yesterday also. We want stable families, living peacefully, healthy lives in prosperity and physical security, while free to pursue our own spiritual or religious beliefs. We want adequate, nutritious food, clean water, clean air from fertile landscapes, with time for family, friends and community, and leisure for cultural and other pursuits. We want real education in contextual decision making, to live in harmony as a being in the ecosystem we live in. And to achieve this, a behavior is expected from us, which will be brought about by behaving with integrity as a being with all life forms, by ensuring them to live their lifespan performing their function. So we have to allow all the life forms to live their lifespan. We will not interfere in their life. And they should be free to perform their functions, which is designed by the nature. Being open, tolerant, non-judgmental, honest, and respectful, ensuring mutual respect and support for the team humanity as we live with each other and our environment in harmony. All to be ensured for many generations to come on a foundation of regenerating soils and biologically diverse communities on Earth's land, in our rivers, lakes and oceans. So our goal is not just for our lives, but for the generations to come. Vedic paradigm, Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. So each species is complete in itself, as well as is a part of a larger whole. So we have to learn to see this planet as one whole, not compartmentalize things. Our education has forced us to think everything as a compartment now. When even we take some medical treatment, if you have a stomach ache, he might give a medicine to you, but it might give rise to some other problem, because they don't treat the body as one. No? So there are many side effects coming in. Similarly, if we treat the system as some parts and parcel, there will be many, many unintended consequences. So the highlights of this paradigm, the number one was just told by one of our participants. The more you grow, the more resources fertility generates. So it is not diminishing when we use the resources, but it will increase, it will keep generating. This is what regenerative farming is all about. Increasing population doesn't deplete the resources in the ecosystem. So there is a phobia now that increasing population is a big problem. So we should reduce the population. That is the new order, or they call it 2030 agenda. The resources are available at the site, no need for any inventions. So the nature is designed so perfectly that wherever you start this regenerative process, all the resources will be available there without you spending anything. So recently I was seeing a video where two ecologists, they requested one company who was into making orange juices. So they requested him that whatever pills are coming out from the factory, they should be given to them and dumped in an area which was deserted. So they could accumulate, the company agreed, and they dumped 12,000 metric ton of pills, orange pill there. And then it was dumped there, the whole land was covered, and after 10 years, to the surprise, not to the surprise, but because nobody knew about the principles, because the soil was covered, in 10 years there was a fully grown forest there. I will share that video on our group today, on the WhatsApp group. Without any of us doing anything, no human intervention was there. Just by covering the soil, in 10 years, it manifested into a fantastic forest with different varieties of trees, different birds living there, different species manifesting. It all happened on its own. So nature has the potency to manifest and work on its own, provided we don't interfere in it. So this is what it means. The resources are available at the site. No difference between farm and farmer as we are being in the farm. So the entire farmland has to be viewed as if it's just a habitat for all the species. We are also part of it. We are not somebody who is controlling the situation. There are no parts in nature. Each species is something that is simultaneously a whole in and of itself as well as a part of a larger whole. The whole is more than the sum of its parts. So this is what we have to understand about the creation. What we have been taught is totally opposite of this. So it is really difficult to even contemplate what it means. Yesterday we discussed one more principle, that the health of soil, plant, animal and humans is one connected chain. Right? So if we are not solving the health of the previous three in the link, then human health can never be improved. So the root cause is soil. Till the time the soil is regenerated or the soil is made healthy, or we bring back the life in the soil, till the time to talk about human health is just a joke. It is not possible. That means we are not serious. So soil, then plant health improves, after the plant health improves, animal health improves, and then in the end human health improves. This is the chain. So the nature, because the nature has been entrusted to us to serve or to manage, so it is designed in a way that if we create any disturbance, we will be the biggest loser. So humanity is the biggest sufferer today. So unless and until we rectify our mistakes of management and give service to soil, plant and animals, we cannot expect or have a healthy lifestyle. Impossible. So an understanding of 4 basic processes at work in all ecosystems. So this is the core thing we have to learn. These 4 basic processes of ecosystems should be functional on our lands. If it is functioning, everything will manifest. This is what we are supposed to do. Only when these 4 processes are functioning in a farm are we getting real milk, grains, real vegetables, fruits and real water. It is these 4 ecosystem services that a farmer should harvest. So, but our definition of harvesting is we harvest grain, we harvest vegetables, we harvest fruits, but a farmer is supposed to harvest these 4 ecosystem. Like yesterday we understood the function of plant. The function of plant is to do photosynthesis. But our understanding so far was function of plant is to give fruits, vegetables. But no, that is the utility of plant. So yesterday we discussed function and utility also, very important principle. So we have to see everything and allow every species to perform its function. If the function is not allowed to be performed, the resource will become a burden on us, as we see in the case of cows. Because the function of cows is to graze, but because they are not allowed to graze, now cows has become a burden. We need a lot of funds to maintain them, and still the struggle is on. So when any resource is not used or not allowed to perform its function, it will become unsustainable. So we have to shift our mindset from utility to function. This was also covered yesterday. So, nature's gift for our quality of life. So, the quality of life which we are expecting as defined in the context will be achieved if these four ecosystem processes are functioning. First is solar energy flow, water cycle, mineral cycle, and community dynamics, which is also called biodiversity. So these are the four ecosystem processes. If they are functioning on our farm, then it will be sustainable, it will be prosperous, it will be profitable, and whatever it will produce, it will give good health to all the species. This process is, if functional, harvest the freely available natural resources, namely sunlight, rain and air, dung and urine, summer and winter, etc. So even summer and winter is described as a resource. It is not a problem. Summer is when these seasons are part of the nature. We can't be expecting that it will be raining 365 days or it will be same season whole year. It is not like that. Nature has its own course as per the geographical situation. It has different seasons manifesting. So we start with the first ecosystem process, which is energy flow. How much sunlight have we harvested? So as a farmer or as a caretaker of a farm project, we have to see that how much sunlight we are harvesting. And the way to harvest sunlight was discussed yesterday. Can anybody like to comment on that? How to harvest the sunlight? By growing plants. We should have living roots throughout the year and diverse living roots. The leaf which grows should be all different kind of leaves, not same variety of leaves. Diversity has to be there. So the basic of all life depends on the plant's ability through photosynthesis to convert sunlight energy to edible form. So does every economy, every country and civilization. So the sunlight is converted into edible form. That was also shown yesterday. The plant through the root exudate a liquid sun, which is food for microbes. This is how the soil life comes back. So if the soil is bare, there are no plants on it, this process won't happen. There will be no photosynthesis happening. So soil life will not come back. So the soil becomes dead. So this is the first ecosystem process, which is a flow. So it should only come one way. Others are cycle, water cycle, mineral cycle. So it is a coming and giving back. But this is just a flow. So sunlight has to be captured through the help of plants. That is the only function of plants, to harvest sunlight. So whenever you see any kind of grass, any kind of shrub growing on your land, you should be happy about it, because the process of photosynthesis is kick-started there. We should not view as weed or unwanted species on the land, because any plant has only one function, to do photosynthesis. So the energy flow will only work when there are living roots on your landscapes. So higher energy flow means least spillage of sunlight. The sun's radiation has three potential pathways when it hits our planet. So it is described in this diagram: reflection, absorption, and photosynthesis, and then transpiration. It can be transformed into photosynthesis by plant, it can be transformed into evaporation, or it can be transformed into heat. So we will check in a break how this sunlight is transformed into heat, because now on wherever we are living is all, the soil is covered with concrete. So even if the air temperature is, say for example today 35, 37 degrees, we will check the surface temperature will be at least 50 plus, at least. That is what is talking here, reflection and radiation. Because it is because there are no living roots, so the heat is reflecting in itself, and so we feel it is so much heat around. Otherwise nature is still perfect. Our body temperature is how much? Sorry? No. In this Celsius, this is Fahrenheit you are talking. Celsius is 36 around. So why should we feel heat when the atmospheric temperature is 35? This is what we want to be healthy, right? But because the surface temperature being concrete, the heat is radiating to the extent of 60 degrees. Last time when we did a course in summer, the surface temperature right in our temple was 60 degrees. And in the garden it was 38, just 1 feet apart. So we will see in a video also in this, but we will do this experiment today also. So plants promote soil life by keeping the soil temperature favorable for plant growth. That is another function of plant. It promotes soil life by keeping the soil temperature favorable. It doesn't allow it to heat too much. Retaining water, so the moisture content is protected and biological activity goes on because the soil life is increasing. So these microbes, fungus, they will do a lot of activity in the soil. So this diagram is showing that if the soil temperature is 21 degrees, 100% of the moisture is used for growth. So this is the optimum thing we require, 21 degrees soil temperature. If it is up to 38 degrees, then 15% moisture is used for growth and 85% of the moisture is lost through evaporation and transpiration. When it goes to 54, 100% moisture is lost through evaporation and transpiration. And when it is 60, today if we go at 12 o'clock in any of the field, surrounding field, you will find it 60 degrees today. Soil bacteria dies. So we are finishing our soil by keeping it exposed. So it is very important to cover the soil to lower the soil temperature. This is the same thing. Bare soil is exothermic, cement is exothermic. So what we see today is all cemented roads. We call it development, advancement, but it is creating problem. Here is the video.
I'm out here today with Kiss the Ground soil expert, Don Smith, because he recently told me an amazing story about what he did with a plant leaf, a piece of green paper, a temperature gun, and the ground, and I just knew we had to get it on camera. Temperature gun. Nailed it!
So we've got a green leaf and a green piece of paper. Finn, I want you to use this temperature gun and shoot the leaf and the paper.
Okay, so the leaf is 59.7. Wow, the paper is...
So this is Fahrenheit. What I just showed in the previous slide was Celsius. So don't assume that on the leaf is 60 degrees, the topmost where the soil life is dying. It is not that. It is in Fahrenheit.
89.6. That's a 30-degree temperature difference. I knew plants were cool, but that was huge difference. Explain.
Unlike the paper, the plants are actually evaporating and using the power from the sun to photosynthesize. And that process, making carbohydrates, is actually endothermic, meaning it's a cooling process.
So they're like solar-powered air conditioners.
Yeah, exactly.
Don, what about all this bare soil? It feels freaking hot. Bring the temperature gun over here. Oh my God, it's 138.9. So with bare tilled soil like this, with temperatures that high, we're literally cooking the soil. And Don, farmers everywhere in current agriculture are leaving soil bare. What kind of effect is this having across the globe?
Well, bare soil causes something called the heat island effect. That affects the water supply, changes weather patterns, causes desertification. It's a huge global problem.
So bottom line is we should keep the soil covered with living plants.
Yes, crops, cover crops, even weeds are better than bare soil.
What we've learned today is that plants are cool and bare soil is not.
So it is very clear, right? What we are doing with the planet now. Everywhere you go, it has become a principle to keep the soil exposed to sun. So we are cooking our soil. We are killing the soil life. And this is so natural and normal now. If anybody tries to do this, there will be huge resistance in the community. You have gone mad. They will be shouting on you. You have gone mad, Prabhu. What are you doing? This is weeds, remove it. And he said, weeds, right? Because they are also performing photosynthesis. So because we have failed to understand the function of plant, and we were viewing plants for the utility, we were taking this wrong decision of removing them. So this ensures energy flow, solar energy flow. Sorry. Okay. So how to capture more sunshine? Have more green growing leaves, more plants, bigger leaves, plants actively growing, diversity of canopy, have green leaves for more days, have leaves from as early in possible in spring to late in the fall, and diversity of plants. No bad soil, a must in cropping to avoid spillage of sunlight. So because we are into the business of harvesting sunlight, so any spillage is a loss to us, right? Sun is considered to be the demigod for health, right? So we can't afford to lose even one ray of the sun on the landscape. So we can't afford the spillage. So spacing between the rows and spacing in the row, our cropland should be harvesting at least 200 to 300 different types of sugars produced by different types of plant leaves. So every plant does a different way of harvesting. It has its own feature of harvesting. We don't need to go in depth of that, but because the nature has made varieties of leaves, so it should all come. So they will harvest energy from the sunlight, and they have a set of microbes working with them. They will be feeding those set of microbes. Similarly, they will be inviting a set of insects, they will be inviting a set of birds. So all kind of diversity has to come. So diversity breeds diversity. We cannot breed that. Now what humans have started doing is, okay, I will plant 50 varieties of vegetables. That's not enough. This is at least 200 to 300 types of varieties they are talking about. And it comes on its own. We don't have to do anything. But our diversity is again focused on feeding humans. It is not focused on feeding all species of life. Today also in the Bhagavatam, we had that words in Hindi Bhagavatam, that Mother Earth is providing for all the species, food for all the species. So this is solar energy flow, now water cycle. So again, we have to harvest the rainwater. Now rainwater harvesting is a word we are very familiar with. But our harvesting is again technology based. We don't use nature to harvest. We need a lot of funds to have a system which will harvest the rainwater, right? Now we will understand how Krishna has arranged that. So efficient water cycle means least spillage of rainwater.
The first thing we want to do is clip off the grass, so we're looking right at the soil surface and water running on that instead of through a whole bunch of grass.
So this is a covered soil.
What we're going to do is we're going to drive an infiltration ring into the ground and then put some water into it. And basically it amounts to 1 inch of water, and we will time that so we can see how long it takes for the water to go in. So we basically start with this ring here and drive it into the ground. So what we do now is we basically just put a piece of saran wrap in the ring to hold the water up until we're ready to start the timer and start the water running. And then we have pre-measured 440 milliliters of water, which in a 6-inch ring equals 1 inch of water going into the ground.
So he is mimicking 6 inch of rainfall.
Pull that out, let the water start to go, start the timer. And you don't want to leave because it goes
Because there are living roots, the water infiltrated immediately.
10.1 seconds.
10 seconds only. 6 inch of rainfall is infiltrated in 10 seconds.
All right, so we've got that ring in about the right amount there. I'm going to add an inch of water to this soil profile and start the clock and see how long it takes to infiltrate that inch of water. And some have said as much as 150 to 200 pounds per acre of production will be lost with every inch of water that runs off the soil. So this infiltration matters quite a bit in terms of how productive the rangeland will be, and it ties into the bottom line, the economics of an operation as well. So we've run through, and it took 7 minutes and 3 seconds to get that inch of water into this soil profile. Quite a bit different from the more diverse rangeland, the higher condition rangeland, where it only took 10 seconds to infiltrate that inch of water into that grass. And so we're going to see what has happened in the last 9 months since this got converted to cropland. Even though they didn't till it,
bare soil.
we'll see what effect the cropping and the killing of the grass has had on this soil right here. So we're going to go ahead and pound the ring into the ground and see what happens with our inch of water. So we're going to pull out the cellophane wrap and start the timer and see how long it takes for that inch of water to go into this recently converted cropland. So we've let this run its course, and our water has finally infiltrated. Looks like we ended up with 31 minutes and 13 seconds that it took for it to infiltrate on this recently converted cropland.
Yeah, so it was very simple. He was just mimicking a 6-inch rainfall. By this, he has done some calculation that if 6-inch rainfall comes, how much fast the water is infiltrating in the soil. So the soil which was fully covered with good grass grown on it, it infiltrated in 10 seconds. Soil which was very scantily covered, very less grass was there, it took around 7 minutes. And the soil which was uncovered, it took 31 minutes for the same rainfall to infiltrate. But the important point for us to understand here is infiltration of 6 inch of rainfall can happen in 10 seconds, which is inconceivable for us. They have recorded 11 inch of rainfall infiltrating like immediately. There are farms like this. They can infiltrate 11 inch of rainfall. It will bring flood here. If it rains like this in 1 hour, 11 inch of rainfall, it will flood. But if the farm is properly regenerative, following the 4 ecosystems, it can infiltrate any amount of water that is coming. And another thing you mentioned is, because of this, the production of grass has increased significantly because the water is available there for the grasses to grow. You don't have to use your irrigation system because the soil is a natural reservoir of water. Yesterday we saw it. Every 1% increase in the organic matter, the water holding capacity of the soil increased by 94,000 liters per acre. Per acre. 94,000 liters, every 1% increase. So if your organic matter is 6%, you are storing 6 lakh liters of water in 1 acre of land, which we cannot manage in any way. It is super expensive to construct such things. And this is freely available. If you follow the ecosystem, whatever rain is coming will be stored in your soil. And when the plant needs, they can drink it there. They are not depending on anybody else to get the water. And they can take how much they want. In our system, we decide when to give, how much to give, what time to give. But here, whenever plants need it, the water is available there. Like we have, there is a water pot right behind. If anybody is thirsty, we can go and drink. Similarly, nature provides this facility to all the species. So effective rainfall. Effective rainfall means now we think that rainfall is not enough today. But rainfall is enough, but effective rainfall is not enough because the ecosystem principles are not followed. So it is the rain that falls on the surface of the soil, soaks in, and then leaves the soil only by 2 ways. So every rain that falls on the land, it should soak in through the plant. And it lives by only two ways. Number one, by flowing through the soil to perennial flows, which we call the aquifers, underground water, replenishing the groundwater, increasing it. And number two, by transpiration through green growing plants. So because naturally the plants would consuming the water, so it also transpires. And yesterday we saw in the video, if the soil is, entire soil is covered, this transpiration also invites rainfall. 40% rainfall is through this, and 60% comes from the seawater, which is transpired from, evaporation happens from the sunlight, and the clouds are formed and then they come. That is one way. And the other is through this system, where they are all transpiring water and small clouds are formed and they are dropping there and then. So there are two kind of water cycles we saw in the video yesterday. So this is the second we are discussing here. Transpiration through green growing plants. Effective rainfall. We do not have life because there is water. But we have water because there is life in the soil. This is very important to understand. Generally we think that if there is no water, there is no life. But actually if there is no life in the soil, you can't store the water. There is runoff of water. Everything that falls just runs off from your land. So in this, Helen Savory is explaining this principle.
So really the aim of what we're doing is trying to make the available rainfall more effective. We're out in the rain right now, and you can see it. Where the soil is bare, this water is flowing and it's depositing silt or carrying silt, depositing it down there. Where the grassland is, where we've got grass plants growing and some litter, there's absolutely no water flowing. This is all just soaking in, and that's what we've got to get. And then that water should only leave the soil through growing plants or underground flow in the water to aquifers and in the soil to aquifers and the river.
Springs form when the rainfall is effective. They can come back if the rainfall is made effective. So this is the best drinking water. This is the real mineral water, water from the springs. But it can come back provided we make all the rainfall water effective. Effective meaning thereby it should infiltrate in the soil through the plant roots. The condition of the soil surface and what's growing on it controls the fate of rainfall. So if it is covered with green plants, infiltration is there, and if it is bare soil, it will run off and further it will add to the compaction of the soil because it is hitting directly on the soil. Soil is the biggest reservoir of rainwater for which we only need living plants throughout the year. To store this water, only thing we need is living plants. We don't have to make any tanks to store this water. Soil can store itself. This we saw, if it is bare soil, there will be runoff. This is unintended consequence of tilling, because we are tilling our soil regularly, keeping it exposed all the time, so this runoff is happening. Keeping the soil bare, monocropping is also one of the major reasons. We are trying to grow only one type of crop. This is slick test. In this they are trying to show what happens in the soil where there is very little organic matter, which is less than 2, and another example of soil is the organic matter is like 10. So the 10 is like chocolate. It tastes like a chocolate also and looks like chocolate also. So Krishna was eating soil, right? When he ate soil, and Mother Yashoda asked him to open his mouth, and the entire planet was visible. So basically, healthy soil sustains the planet. We can take this inference from this pastime. Krishna was taking a sample, whether everything is going good or not. It was just not a pastime, but this inference can be taken from this, that Krishna was teaching us.
Yeah, it's continuously till. Oh my God! This is the first time I've done it. Tilt soil. Tilt soil. That down. That is why it happens. Until soil. Put that down. Put that down.
So one is tilled soil and the other is untilled soil, which is not tilled, no tilling is done there.
There's no disturbance. You shouldn't disturb. Yeah, we shouldn't disturb. Now you disturb. Yes. Yeah. Now it's disturbed.
See, the soil aggregate is not breaking.
So you can see if you come close, bubbles are there. That is, air spaces are there. Water is
what it is doing, it is doing so much of pollution you see in this.
Water is getting soaked here, and here the soil is going along. No soil life.
So if there is soil life, water infiltration will be much better. Surface ponding we see when the rain comes, we see such situation is not new to us because the soil is compacted, there is zero aeration, there are no living roots, so we are losing all the rainwater through evaporation. So rain pounds bare soil unprotected by litter into a hard cap. Capped soils are less receptive to rainfall, particularly in short, low volume events when water tends to roll off or sit on top of the soil until it evaporates. So we think that it is infiltrating, but actually it is evaporating. Actually there is a big illusion on this point. Most of the farmers think that this is infiltrating slowly, but actually this is evaporating. Sun is taking away it back. The key is not how much the rain falls, but what happens after it falls. So if we are not having our lands ready with the living roots, the rain is just hitting, already started in most of the part of India, and the soil is uncovered. It is not going to be effective anymore. We are just going to waste another monsoon. So if the soil is covered, then we can harvest the rainwater. That is the water cycle. So whatever water comes, infiltration to the soil, and the cycle completes by the plant transpiring it back. There is a question here. Drought causes bare ground or bare ground causes drought? So what is our understanding now? Very good. So till now everybody was thinking that drought causes bare ground because there is no rain, so there is bare soil, but the reality is something other. So in other words, whatever concepts we have acquired so far, whatever mindsets we have acquired so far, just remember that monkey. Yesterday we were discussing about the monkey, right? That they were forced not to eat the bananas. So we also fear doing anything right now. When we try to not remove the weeds, our production will go down. Immediately that idea will come to our mind. And then we start removing. But now it is clear, photosynthesis is happening, let it grow. Welcome them. Otherwise, how will energy flow work, solar energy? It is not going to function. How will water infiltration happen? It will not happen if there are no living roots. So we need living roots in whatever format it is. So droughts and floods are unintended consequence of our decision that led to creation of bare soil. So droughts and floods are not problem, they are unintended consequence from the theory what we learned yesterday. Every problem is a decision taken. Decision taken is a problem. So our decision to keep the soil bare is causing droughts or floods. He talks about India in this. So let's hear.
Responded very well to inputs of all sorts. They needed lots of pesticides, they needed lots of fertilizer, and they needed lots of water. The other two are talked about. Water's been talked about rather less. But if you measured how much crop you got on a given amount of land, the Green Revolution was a success, bumper yields per acre. If you measured how much crop you got per unit of water, many of these crops were producing less than the old crops that they replaced. So while the world grows twice as much food as it did 30 years ago, it takes roughly 3 times as much water to grow it, we thought we were going to run out of land to grow food. Instead, we're beginning to run out of water. One thing that happened as a result of the Green Revolution was a massive increase in the exploitation of underground water reserves. Many parts of the world that used to grow their crops from surface water, taking water from the rivers, well, the rivers, they dried up, so they're now using much greater reliance on underground water. I took a long look at India, which is prominent in this. Now, India, again, is a success story in terms of feeding the country. 40 years ago, back in the 1960s, India was a centre of famine. You know, there were big headlines about regular famines in India. Millions could die. Today, it feeds itself. Most years, it exports rice, but at great cost. It's done it because of the Green Revolution, the new high-yielding crop varieties. But it's using so much water that the rivers are basically empty. And fully half of India's crops are now grown using irrigation from underground water. Just one picture here in Bengal, but you can see that all over India, water being pumped up from underground in order to be diverted onto their fields. Farmers are taking from underground, and I'm sorry, I'm coming back to this cubic mile unit again. Farmers in India are taking from underground 30 cubic miles more water every year than the rains replace. They actually pump up about 100 cubic miles. Rainwater replaces quite a lot of that, but they're pumping up 30 cubic miles more than the rains replace.
So basically what he's trying to point out is the Green Revolution, the idea was to feed people because there were not enough food as was preached at that time. Now the situation is we are exporting rice and wheat, but the point he's highlighting is in this process the use of water has increased so exorbitantly high that more than 50% of the farming in India is happening with groundwater, and every year we are using 30 cubic mile more water from the ground than the rain can replenish. That is what is alarming here. That is why we are seeing that desertification is increasing. There is no groundwater now. But if there is no water, what will we do there? And it is forecasted that by 2050, 9 states in India will be without water. And yesterday we were seeing bare soil causes poor soil causes poor people, and as a result, 40 million people are migrating every year because of desertification. So it's a big challenge the world is facing today. So here ends the water cycle. Now we are on the third, which is mineral cycle, or it is also called the nutrient cycle. So the cycling of nutrients from plants to other organisms in the soil and back to the plants. So it is a give and take basically. It is made possible by landscape function of recycling. The function of landscape is to recycle. Whatever grows should go back. Whatever comes out should go back. Even if we are eating it, if a cow eats the grass, it puts down the dung. So that is recycling. So we have to recycle the biomass. Whatever is growing on the land has to be recycled. So that giving space for the new thing to grow back. How effectively are we harvesting the free tons of biomass resource produced in our landscape? Because this biomass which is producing every year on our landscape has to be harvested and given back to the soil. By the process of feeding, all the life that move in our landscape are responsibly recycling the biomass produced on it. So all the microbes, all the birds, all the animals, every single species is just recycling the biomass. Yeah. Most trees and shrubs lose their leaves, which then fall to the ground, where they can biologically decay, allowing the nutrient to re-enter the mineral or nutrient cycle. So, because the tree is taking some food from the soil, it drives the leaves and give it back. But because we don't like seeing that, we clean it, right? So we disturb the mineral cycle. We are disturbing the nutrient cycle. So like you see on the right, there is a wonderful image of a garden. We call this as a garden, right? But this was never in the nature. This is man-made. This has no use. It is just wasting water. Nothing good is happening on this. But on the other side, you see there are trees. They are shedding leaves. The leaves are getting accumulated. Soil, it is covering the soil, and it will gradually decay, adding to the nutrient cycle. Every year, in the bulk of the world's landscape, there has to be a massive production of billions of tons of above ground plant parts. So much of grass is growing world over. In every monsoon, it has to grow. All the biomass that follows a rain is a food and habitat for all the beings on the earth. So it is food also, because somebody would be grazing on it, somebody would eat some part of it, we will eat grains out of it, some fruits, vegetables out of it, and soil microbe will also get food through the process of photosynthesis. But what we do is this is what we have been learned. When we cannot clean the fields, we just put fire there. So this is, or we cut it down. So it is like cutting the branch on which we are sitting. Any decision to stop photosynthesis is like cutting the branch on which we are sitting. The nature's factory to feed all the species is photosynthesis. This is exporting the fertility. So because now the farming class is different, and the people who take care of the cattle are a different class. They are different. So they will, after harvesting the grain, the grass has been exported from the land and shifted to some place where the animals can eat it. But this is reducing the fertility of your soil. It has to be given back there. We can just take our share. We should invite the cattle there. They can eat it there, put the dung, so the cycle is complete. But because we are shifting this at some other place, then this soil from where the shift has happened will need some nutrient to recoup its health. Because we have disturbed the cycle. The nutrient cycle is disturbed by exporting it. So crop residue should be seen not as a waste, but as provider of essential environmental service. Do not export or burn crop residues. It is not possible to take more out of a soil than what is put in it without degrading its quality. So because we are taking more, quality is degrading. So we have to give pesticide, fertilizers, this, that, organic or inorganic, whatever you call it. We have to give some substitute. So this is a nice video. The soil is our capital, and hence it should not be mined.
Soil is like a bank account. In a bank account, you cannot withdraw more than what you put in it. You must balance the bank account very carefully, and always if you want your bank account to increase, the input must exceed the output. Soil is the same way. Anything that we take out of soil, whether it's nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, nutrients, whatever we take out, we must replace them. If you do not replace, and that's an example of taking for granted, if you do not replace, soil will not produce. Or it will produce, but it will deplete the natural reserves of nutrients. For example, soil organic matter or soil carbon is the reserve of nutrients in the soil. When you do not replace what you harvest, either in grains or animal product, then the organic matter content is decomposed and nutrients are released. So progressively you are mining soil. As a result of this mining practice, we call that extractive farming. In Sub-Saharan Africa, in South Asia, in the Caribbean, Haiti is a very good example, many countries in South America, have depleted the soil by extractive farming practice, by mining the nutrient. So they have a negative nutrient budget. In what they take out has been more than what they put in for decades, if not for centuries. So the soil productive capacity has been mined out. Soils have been taken for granted. That is where they do not produce. I strongly believe that health of soil, plants, animals, people, and ecosystems is one and indivisible.
So soil has to be viewed as a bank. We like our bank balance to keep increasing. Similarly, the deposits in the soil has to be more than what we take. Otherwise, we see what we are seeing today, bare soil. The flowers are the linchpin of the world. Structure of a healthy soil includes roots, soil organic matter and biotic activity. All the soil life fed by the plants through root exudates and crop residues constitute the real flowers. So, when we talk about plowing the field, this is the nature system. As the soil life increases, the infiltration will be more, aeration will be more, and soil will be always soft and moist. So what we need to plow our field is not tractors, but soil life. Because they keep moving in, they have their functions, activities are going on, and just by their movement, they keep breaking the soil. It will be always soft. We saw the video yesterday, this is just a slide. So in the 1980, when the tractors were moving to plow the field, the birds were coming because there was soil life to eat their food, which was microbes. But in 2008, the same field, no birds are coming because the soil life is gone. So what has happened because of tillage? The nutrient value in the food has gone down. So in 1950, on the right lower side you can see, 4.3 milligram of iron was available from one apple. But now to get the same, how many are they? 3 to 5, 26 apples. This is 1998, this is also quite old statistics. If you eat 26 apples, now you get that kind of iron. So it is unaffordable. So in the greed to produce more, we compromised on the quality. And undigestible, correct. Even if somebody can afford, he cannot eat this. So what have we gained? So this is because of tillage practice. All tillage tools destroy soil structure. All tillage tools decrease water infiltration. All tillage tools reduce organic matter. So we are writing tillage tools. Natural tilling is okay. If the cow is moving, breaking the soil, no problem. If the microbes are doing their activity, no problem. Because they won't damage it. They know exactly how much to do. They are functioning exactly as designed by the nature. They won't go out of that. So, yeah. So now where are we farming? Because of this continuous tillage, the topsoil is already gone. Again, this was discussed yesterday in the video. In another 60 harvests, there will be no topsoil left in the world if we continue the same farming practices. So only 60 harvests left. This is by United Nations, not by some small institution. This was from United Nations. This is in Hindi. This is also talking about the reduction in the nutrient content of our food, and it is unintended consequence of applying purchase inputs to produce crop. Right now we are conditioned to put inputs in farming. We buy so many organic, inorganic things, keep putting, we buy dung, put on the land. We are buying so many things to increase the fertility, but that will not give nutrient content to the food, and it is very expensive. It is also not sustainable again. Lot of effort is going on. We are hardly left with any time to do anything else. So the current condition for farmers, farms and food, USDA study in 1940-2010, 70% loss of nutrition in all families of fruits and vegetables. So all fruits, all vegetables are down in their quality aspect by 70% already. Depleted and poisonous soil and water through conventional agriculture. So because we are using it, today in the class also it was spoken, because we are using these chemicals to kill these species, ultimately we are eating that in our food, in our water. Artificial pesticides and fertilizers leave toxic poison in consumers. So that is why the diseases are increasing. Cancer, diabetes, all the chronic diseases are just because of this. Alarming increase in rate of all cancer, often related to toxins consumed or exposed to. Younger generations no longer continues family farms. So this is another big problem we are facing. Because the farming is unsustainable, the next generation is not taking up this as an occupation. So who will do the farming now? After another 2-3 decades, who will do it? Suicide rate in farmers is soaring more than double the rate of veterans. So this is from CNN. So this is a video. We can see this. I'm sorry, this is in Hindi.
और अब हम जिस खबर का विश्लेषण करेंगे वो आपके पूरे परिवार की सेहत से जुड़ी हुई खबर है। आपको जानकर हैरानी होगी कि आपके भोजन की थाली में से जरूरी पोषक तत्व गायब होते जा रहे हैं। यानी आप जो खाना खा रहे हैं उससे आपका पेट तो भर सकता है लेकिन पोषण नहीं हो सकता। नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ न्यूट्रिशन ने इसी वर्ष एक फूड कॉम्पोजिशन टेबल तैयार किया है जिसके आधार पर इंडियन डायटिक एसोसिएशन यानी IDA ने भारतीय थाली से जुड़ा एक रिसर्च किया। इस रिसर्च के मुताबिक पिछले 30 वर्षों से भारतीय भोजन की ताकत और उसके पोषक तत्व लगातार कम हो रहे हैं। आपने अक्सर बड़े बुजुर्गों को ये कहते हुए सुना होगा कि पुराने जमाने में भोजन की बात ही कुछ और हुआ करती थी।
So he is also bringing up the same point that the nutrient is going out from our plates. We are satisfying our hunger, but the hidden hunger is still there. We are not feeling contented after eating the food. That satisfaction is not there. So the Rishi Munis before were eating once a day. We are thinking, they were doing so much austerity, but the food was like that. That even by eating once, they never felt of eating it again in the day. But now, even 1, 2, 3, 4, keep eating, but no satisfaction. And so obesity is the biggest disease today. So what we have achieved by this farming practice, we have just failed. So if you have to reverse the cycle, we have to reverse the decisions we have taken. We can't expect a different result by following the same process. If we continue tilling, we can't expect a different result. If we continue to keep the soil bare, we can't expect a different result. If we are not keeping the soil covered 365 days, if we are not infiltrating the water, we will be always depending on the irrigation system. The rivers have already dried up. Nadiya to sukh chuki hai. This is what we have done by these practices. Groundwater is also getting finished now. 700 feet, 800 feet, 1500 feet, no water. Same thing, depletion in the minerals, in the vegetables and fruits. So hidden hunger, I was just speaking about this. So hidden hunger is a major public health problem caused by lack of essential vitamins and minerals in the diet. So this is something hidden, which we don't exactly identify it, but it is there. Often the signs of this form of malnutrition are hidden, as individuals may look all right, but suffer extremely negative impact on health and well-being. We think, no, I am eating so healthy fruits, vegetables, dal, rice, I don't go out, milk, everything is just pakka I am doing, but still, the health is pathetic. So in 1965, 4% of our population had chronic disease. Today, 46% of our children have chronic disease. This I will skip, it's a concept of brittleness. This helps to understand why the animals are of different size in different geographical areas. This is what we are talking about brittleness. So, like for example in Gujarat, it's a dry zone. We don't have much water rainfall there. So the animals are big, 400 kg, 500 kg cows are there. But if you go to Kerala, where the rainfall is much higher, the cows will be smaller in size. If you go to hilly area, the cows will be even smaller in size. So it has some relevance to it. This is how the nature is designed. Because if these heavy cows of Gujarat goes to Kerala, then they can't walk on the soil there. So it is very much interlinked, everything. But because our decision to have this cattle was just milk, our decisions are based on utility, milk. So we started importing, exporting animals here and there, without understanding the relevance why the nature was created like this. Because our decision was based on our context. What was our context? To get milk. When we talk about cows, the context is to get milk, right? So because of the wrong context, the decisions taken were also wrong. So non-brittle is humid like the south. Brittle is mostly dry periods. So non-brittle is moisture throughout the year. Brittle here is divided into wet and dry seasons like we have here also in Uttar Pradesh. In most year rainfall is close to average in the non-brittle areas, and rainfall is often far above or far below average. Rapid biological decay is there, so you don't need heavy animals because soil is generally covered because the rain is coming every few days, the plant will grow, the cover is better. Dead roots from the bottom and fall over. Slow decay by weathering at the tip of twigs and grasses, dead growth may stand for years or decades, turning grey with age. Because here the humidity is very less in the brittle climate. Rested land heals from damage. So here if the land is rested, it will heal on its own. Bare ground returns to forest. And on the other side, prolonged rest damages and desertifies land. So we cannot be following the same method at both the places. The principle is same, method has to be different. And here, solitary predators, tigers, and here pack hunting predators, lions. So the animals are also different in the different geographical situation as per the situation. Take home message. Please do not kill plants and insects with inorganic or with organic products also. So generally there is a new thing now. The medicines from dung, urine, neem is good, but no, we are rejecting that also. Because that is also killing the life. So killing is prohibited. Remove plant from its roots, we should not do that. Do not remove crop residue, plant biomass from where it was grown. Do not burn the crop residues or plant biomass. Do not reprune a plant with livestock before it has recovered. Last is a very important point. We will discuss it in detail when we discuss about grazing the cows, what it means. Repruning the plant with livestock before it has recovered. So this is a video on function of landscape.
We've never bothered to realise that if the single function of a landscape is to recycle as much of each year's production or each day's production as it can. But in the case of recycling, reduce oxidation to the absolute minimum, retain water at the highest particular potential, and it's only able to be done with plants. He can't do it, he can help the plants do it. But if he doesn't use the plants at the end of the day, he's wasted his time.
Yep. So if we are not using the plants, then we are simply wasting our time. It's a clear message. This is the fourth now. So we have discussed three: energy flow, water cycle, mineral cycle. This is the fourth ecosystem process, which is called biodiversity and succession or community dynamics. There is no such thing as an independent organism. So we have this word, jivo jivasya jivanam. All species need other species in order to survive. Succession is the process of change and development in communities. I think we will take a break for 2 minutes or 5 minutes. Anybody can want to drink water because this needs more attention. This is the most important ecosystem process. So we have a 5-minute break. Everybody can stand, move around because the class is quite comfortable to fall asleep after the long morning program. Sorry for that. This is the fourth ecosystem, and after that, whatever we have covered so far is all related to farming. And after finishing this, we will take a short break. In that, we will demonstrate, Mr. Samrat and his colleague is here, they will demonstrate that refractometer brick testing. Yesterday we were discussing, to check the nutrient of the food. Has anybody brought something? Okay, you brought, good. So we will test that, and then we will start our discussion on cows. So today we are going to cover potential of milk, potential of cow's milk. That is our discussion. That will take 1 hour. This is another 15-20 minutes. So we have good time today. We will take a small experiment from him, and then we will do that gun temperature if we saw already. But still, if you want to do, we can do it in our campus. And tomorrow we will be discussing about feed for cows, how to feed the cows, how much they can eat, what is the relevance of their eating, and how to start a farm, most importantly. Right? When you get a land, what will you do? Step 1, step 2, step 3, the cow-land ratio, how much cows can be sustained in what quantity of land, all those things we will learn tomorrow. So is everybody back? Yes. So we start. Biodiversity and succession. Succession is the process of change and development in communities of all living organisms, including plants, microorganisms, and small and large creatures of every sort. So succession means that, as we know, there are 84 lakh species. So it's not that all kind of species are there on our land throughout. There is a succession. When a conducive environment manifests, say for example, it's a barren soil. We all have an experience to see a barren soil, so we are taking that as an example. So whenever you go to a barren soil, you will see some plants growing with thorns on it. Have you seen that? It is not by chance. On the bare soil, it grows to give protection to the soil. Because nature has its mechanism to give protection to Mother Earth. So if it is thorny plant, nobody will come to intervene in it. I mean, no animal will come to eat that. No humans are interested. So the process of photosynthesis starts. But we are being conditioned and educated that thorny things are a problem, troublemaker. So we cut it off and remove it. So we are disturbing the cycle of regeneration actually. Now coming to the word succession, so when the cycle of this thorny plant continues, the next species that will manifest will be a better tree. And in that scenario, some bird will come, it will pass some stool with the seed in it between that thorny tree so that it acts as a tree guard. So no animal can disturb it, and then a new tree starts growing there, and then this tree leaves the body, the thorny tree. This is the cycle of succession. So in the nature there is cooperation. Every species wants a better species to survive, and it would live its life when its function is over. So they don't compete. I want to live long, why should I live? It's not like that. When the situation is better for the other species to serve the nature, the previous species will live. So this is what we mean by the word succession. This is very uncommon in human society. To, succession. Okay, he is better than me, so I will resign now, he will take over. This is very uncommon. But in nature, it is very common. A species will move into an environment when the conditions are suitable for its establishment, and will move out of that environment when the condition becomes unsuitable for its reproduction. So when the soil is good, this thorny plant will not grow there. It is not conducive for it to grow there. It has to live. So from bare rock, this is a full succession plan given, and it progresses from pioneer stage to the climax where the full size different variety of tree grows. And for us, one more thing I would like to add, Balramji has a flag. What is there on the flag, anybody knows? Sorry? Balram's flag has a symbol on it. Palm tree, yeah, who said? Yes, palm tree, correct. So palm tree, as per the current scientific research, is a climax tree. So when palm tree grows in a locality on its own, it means there the whole system is working fine. So Balramji comes when things are going in order, and this one tree is capable of holding huge amount of water. Around 10,000 liters of water can be stored just near one tree of palm. So that is why Balram is called Farm Acharya, right? We understand Balram as the Farm Acharya and Krishna as Cow Acharya. So he is teaching cow protection, he is teaching farming. So that palm tree got placed on the flag of Balram, because it has some connection with farm, and the science is evolving to that understanding. See here, this thorny plant is drying up, and a wonderful neem tree has grown in between. So I was just discussing this. The pioneer plant moves into an area, change the condition. So the thorny plant is the pioneer plant. It moves, change the condition, and then they are outcompeted by the plant that thrive in the changed soil conditions. So this neem tree will manifest then. Not necessarily every time neem tree, but here in this example, we are seeing it. The greater the diversity of plant, the greater the diversity of microbes. It is a diversity in microorganism that makes it possible for natural system to be so functional and healthy compared to the sterile, lifeless, thwarted systems offered by monoculture with their limited microbial diversity. So the microbial diversity is very, very important for the natural system to be functional. Above ground diversity is a mirror of below ground diversity. So as the soil life increases, the variety of plants growing will also keep increasing. Biodiversity feeds itself. What happens if there is no diversity? So infections and infestations are symptoms of lack of diversity. Pandemics and epidemics are symptoms of biodiversity loss. Need for tools, technology in farming. Each tool is replacing the job of the species in the biodiverse population. This is a very important point. So when we are removing a species, or any plant or any microbe is going out from our landscape, who will do the function which that plant was performing? So functional extinction. So then we need technology. So our input cost keep increasing. Then we need different kind of inputs to survive, to sustain. So the need for tools and technology in farming, each tool is replacing the job of a species. Nature has arranged some species to perform that function, but because we have removed that species by some chemical farming, so we need these chemicals and fertilizers to grow our food. Otherwise, nature has a complete mechanism. Biodiversity is a real option to use fertilizer, insecticides and herbicides. So this elephant is a symptom of biodiversity loss. All these problems which we are seeing today, it is because of biodiversity loss. So once we start this process of photosynthesis, solar energy flow with the help of plants, water infiltration will be there, solar energy flow will be there, mineral cycle will continue, biodiversity will keep multiplying. You can't stop this. The species will keep increasing every year. So, but we have a mindset of monocropping. So in biodiversity there is no pest, no competition. Edge effect we are not covering. This is, I think, the same video we saw yesterday. Ploughing. What is the disadvantage of ploughing?
But looking at some old footage from our farm, the damage it causes is now pretty obvious. This is one of our fields back in the 80s. The life in the soil is a feast for the birds. After 20 years of the same treatment, no birds, the soil is dead. Turning the...
Yeah. So now this is an experiment in that they compared their production or output from one species growing on a particular plot, then 2 species, then 4 species, then 16 species, like this they made many, many plots. And what they concluded is, the more the number of plant we grow, the more is the productivity. This is what is the conclusion. More species, more profit. Oh, sorry, we can see this video.
Sorry about this. I think I spent too long explaining stuff. Oh look, this is one of the drought benefits. Look, this is triticale monoculture, and that's a cocktail crop right next to it. You know.
So this left side is monoculture, and the other side is diverse.
This is like droughted, and that's not. It's just like that's monoculture. Just incredible. Anyway, this experiment in Germany, the Jena experiment's been running for 15 years. Got amazing results on diversity. They compared having one.
So now you can see 1, 2, 4, 8, 16 plant species they are doing. High diversity produced greater plant yield than high nitrogen.
Plant or
so even the nitrogen input was getting reduced because of diversity. Diversity is offsetting all the requirement.
2 or 4 or 8 or 16 different plant species in these plots that they did. They had 78 different plots.
So maybe we'll skip now, that was the message. This also we discussed today. One should treat animals such as deer, camels, asses, monkeys, mice, snake, bird, flies exactly like one's own son. How little difference there actually is between children and these innocent animals. So now we understand the relevance of this verse. Otherwise we think, "Arey yaar, itna heavy kyun bol rahe humko? How can we do this?" But if we don't do this, then we can't be healthy. This planet won't be sustainable. So this is given in a chapter in Bhagavatam which is titled as Ideal Grahastha Life. Today you were there? हाँ आज ही था हिंदी में. In the Hindi section it was there, yes. Hindi class it was there. Same shlok. So do we have to kill someone to grow someone? This is again Prabhupada was writing this in the purport. Why we have to kill this life in the agricultural field? There is no need. The insects are our real vaccinators. So the insects are our real vaccinators, meaning thereby, if you are growing healthy food and eating healthy food, you don't need vaccines. Because the soil life is missing, we have to resort to these artificial medicines now. So killing any of these species is again like cutting the branch on which we are sitting. Keep soil always covered. So this is biodiversity makes the healthy soil, makes the plant healthy, makes the animal healthy, makes the healthy food production, and so the people are healthy. This is how the sequence goes. Huge challenge is to begin to see ground cover as protection for land. So this is the biggest challenge before us. First and foremost, we have to cover Mother Earth. She is naked today. She needs clothes. She has to be covered. That consciousness has to come. Now these people whom we are discussing these videos, they have started talking to Earth as Mother Earth. They are already relating as Mother Earth. They don't know any Shastras, but their consciousness is changing by serving this project. Huge challenge is to begin to see ground cover as protection for the land, future for the soil, which in turn will provide potential to have more nutrient food for all in the future. Any management practice that results in creation of bare ground shall be detrimental to the future. So first thing is to cover the soil. Then everything will slowly keep moving in. Okay. So we have to harvest this. Sustainable or regenerative farming is in our ability to harvest freely available resources. They are all free. We have to come out of this mindset that we need a lot of money to live a good life. That is another mindset given to us in today's materialistic world. If we don't have money, what will we do? And everybody thinks like this. So sunlight is free, rain is free, air is free, dung and urine is free. Everything is free. The real capital needed for farming is a healthy soil. And healthy soil you can make from these free resources available. This was also discussed in Bhagavatam in the same chapter, 7th canto, 14th chapter, text number 7. Is this shlok, what is described here? Sunlight, rain and air. This is what exactly given by in the same shloka, 7.14.7. So as to methods, there may be million and then some, but principles are few. The man who grasps principles can successfully select his own method. So we are not propagating any method here, but we want us to be following the 4 ecosystem processes. If you are following this, then you can choose your own method, how you want to do the other things. But these 4 you cannot miss on. So this first part is over now. We will invite Mr. Samratji to show that experiment with bricks meter and all. So that will be a break for us also. And then we continue the second part, which is on cows. So Samrat, I will give a brief introduction. We are not related since long, but we just met by somehow Krishna's arrangement. And we were just about to start this course, so I invited him for this. But he came to meet us because he is also propagating this principle of organic farming. So he came to ISKCON to discuss these ideas. And so I thought it will be a good team if he can join and show us what he is doing. Then we have our land, he can help us there. Something he can learn from us, something we can learn from him. So you can come up here. उनको mic देना पड़ेगा. Or you can take this.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yeah. So thanks a lot, sir, for giving this opportunity to talk to all the devotees. My name is Samrat, and actually I do farming. I do natural farming. For almost 4 years, we are doing farming. And though, prior to this, I was into corporate. I'm educated into IIT and worked outside India. And actually, whatever sir talked today is part of it has been the story of my life. And the reason I'm doing farming is because of the disease in the family. So 2 of our family members got cancer, and I come from farming family. And in my land, there was a lot of pesticides and urea and a lot of conventional ways were happening. And land was really suffering. And that's how I took to farming. My commitment was to convert this land which is undergoing this stress of a lot of stubble burning, a lot of poisonous water from drains going into it, a lot of fertilizers, pesticides going into it. So to keep it away from all those and convert into a natural ecosystem, and also to keep my family healthy and give them safe food. So that's how I took to farming. I have my colleague, Dr. Preeti. Dr. Preeti is an expert on pesticide residue testing. So all her life, she has her thesis, her PhD on pesticide residue testing. She has also been on the impact of all these chemicals that are being used currently. And she helps a lot. So we as farmers, and we are also kind of collectively working with other farmers to convert their land from conventional farming to organic farming. So thereby we do a lot of testing of products also. So I met sir. Sir told me about bricks meter. We have all pesticide residue testing, our own arrangements and labs and stuff like that. So we tested the natural products versus the conventional products that we took from market. And more often than not, we found a huge difference, almost 2 times. So this bricks meter, which sir was talking about, gives some kind of indication around what are the dissolved solids, dissolved nutrients in the food produce that we are testing. So if you are using very high urea content on your field, it will be very heavy on nitrates. It will be less on ammonia compounds, less on calcium, less on phosphorus, all the micronutrients that are required, and it will be very low on the bricks reading. While if you're using organic ways or natural ways or regenerative farming, it will have all the wholesome nutrients which the nature has given it, and which will reflect in their reading, in the reading of the bricks meter. So that's the experiment which we are going to do here today. So we have brought few natural farming products here, and few that we bought from the market. So like this is a natural tomato, and this is what we bought from the market. So let's test this and let's understand what are the readings here. Could you give me the gloves, please? So this is the bricks meter that we were talking about. It works by the way of light. So refraction is the bending of light. So if the nutrient quantity is more, light will bend more, and thereby reading will be higher. So let's see how much the light bends, and what is the reading when we test the conventional produce, and what is the reading when we test the organic or natural produce. And all this you can do at home as well. This is a very simple bricks meter you can buy from Amazon or from various places, and you can test your food, what you're eating for yourself. Yeah, so actually it is by way of juice. We need to draw the juice of it. Do you have the juice of it by any chance? Okay. Yeah, juice can be tested. So we can test it at your place also. So this is the organic sugarcane that it comes from my farm only. I deliver to sir's place. And so we can test this also. And but we need to draw the juice of the product, which we need to spread on the slide. So like we cut the tomato here, and this is the slide on which we need to put the juice of, this is the slide. You can come closer and see for yourself if you want to. Right. So this is a slide. You can just clean the slide, either in water or by a cloth. You just need to clean the slide and just spray some bit of juice on the slide. Yeah. You just cover it and then hold it in the direction of light, like this. Yeah, someone would want to see? Hold, yeah. Hold it in the direction of light, because light is to be refracted. What is the reading that you see here? So the blue part and white part, where do they meet? Yeah, right side. So 20. So 20 is the reading for the conventional produce, something that was grown in a land which is a dead land, which was grown using just the nitrogen from the urea. So 20 is the reading that is there. Anybody else wants to see? Anybody else? Yeah. Hold in the direction of light. Yeah, little above 20. The place where the blue one and the white one meet. Yeah. Ha. Ha. right? Little above 20. Yeah. Yeah. So around 25 to 22. So meanwhile, I'll cut the natural one.
So this is grown organically, means no pesticides and no chemicals have been used.
No urea, no nothing was used. Yeah, we'll clean that first. Yeah, it's clean now.
What is it, sir?
Sorry?
Now it is swing 0?
No, it will be, so I'll tell you. So this is the blue lens. So it will be all blue now. And we calibrate it whether the instrument is functioning right or not. So what we do is we put water in it. So if we put water and then see, it will show 0. So at 0 there will be like white completely below and blue completely up. Right? So that's how it is calibrated. Now it is all blue. Yeah. Yeah, I think, so it is around somewhere around 30, typically it comes 40. Let me put some more juice.
You can use one more so more people can see.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a different one. This has a different set of readings. It is up till 50. So it is up to 100. Yeah. Yeah. So can you squeeze some vegetables in with this? Yeah. Try this. So around 30. Yeah. So slightly above 30. Karela or something, Karela or Kundru. Yeah.
Land in a minute or so.
Sorry?
We land in a minute or two.
Yeah. So we have multiple fruits and vegetables like Kundru, Karela. So if sir will allow, we can do for multiple fruits and vegetables and collect the data and see. So there is a marked difference between organic, natural and conventional ones. So that was around 20 and this is around 30, around 31, 32, the tomato one which we saw.
The blue part should be more? Or
the white point should be more. It should be upper side. Usually it means better nutrient, right? So the organic ones, this is around 30. Yeah.
This is less nutrient?
No. So this is a different equipment with different readings. So this is also bricks meter, but its unit of measurement is different. So we can do everything with this, same with this also. It's just a different make. Yeah. So if we measure the conventional one, it is coming around 20. If we measure the new natural or organic one, it comes around 30. Yeah. Right. So I mean, we do a lot of testing around different chemicals, and we have a elaborate testing mechanism. With sir's permission, we'll be doing a seminar around that also in coming months. So that gives very specific numbers, very specific chemicals which are present. I mean, at times it happens like one of our farmers who's a natural farmer, we found chemical, one of the banned chemical in US, chlorpyrifos, in that produce. So we asked him. So it was put by him 2.5 years back for termites into the soil, and still it persists. So a lot of such chemicals persist, and we need to do a lot of testing around that. So that's how we do testing. Yeah, so organic certification is the certification of land which certifies the process that you are using. So they will come, they will audit. So we have an organic certification as well. But it is important to test the produce. So what produce, it is nutritious, does it have the chemical, does it have harmful pesticides or not, that is very important to test. So this is one of the mechanisms. There are other mechanisms also which are present. Hopefully we will be sharing that in future. So you take up, so taste is also something that will tell, cooking time also something that will tell. So when you buy something, you compare it with the conventional produce. So like we compared, so one was having, this is one of the parameters, and there are other mechanisms also, which are like rapid test kits. Those are slightly complex mechanism. You need little expertise to kind of do that testing with that. Taste is also very different. So I think with sir's permission, I've taken more than allotted time. So we'll do a seminar with sir's permission. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Let's go down that way.
Hare Krishna. So more brick count means more we are Krishna conscious. That is what it means, nothing else. So if you want to increase that count, you have to become more Krishna conscious. So that means you are disturbing nobody, you are Adveshta Sarva Bhutanam, you are equal to all the species. This is what it means. So our test is Krishna consciousness. This is required for preaching, so we use these tools and technology. But the real test is to be more and more Krishna conscious. Yes. So we move on. Now about the cows. We have 1 hour. We will finish in 1 hour, no problem. The function of cow's milk. This we have already done today. This is a definition of milk. A fluid secreted by the mammary glands of female mammals for the nourishment of their young. Healthy mother will have sufficient milk for its baby. This is a very important point. So we will come across this point in the presentations today or tomorrow, that if the calf, because we have discussed the calf and the mother should stay together. This is what was discussed yesterday, right? These are the problem. So if the cow will stay with the mother, then no milk is left. So this is the point. The healthy mother will have sufficient milk for its baby. So we have to make the mother healthy first. And what we have to do to make the mother healthy, what is the process? graze, so the plant has to be healthy. And to make the plant healthy, what we have to do? Soil has to. So this is the real thing. But what we think is if we feed more, if we feed cattle feed, if we will give mineral mix, then the cow will give more milk. But that is not a correct process. The correct process is to make the soil healthy, so the grass will be healthy. If the grass is healthy, the mother will be healthy, so the calf will be healthy, and so there will be more milk. So the story which we are narrating about Yudhishthira Maharaj, so when the milk is falling from the udder on the field when she is grazing, that means soil is healthy, plant is healthy, and so the milk is excess. So now you understand the connection, right? There is no other way. With injections, if we increase the milk, it is not going to give us health. Then what is the benefit? There is no better food for any young mammal than its own mother's milk. This is common sense. Function of the udder. The udder of a cow is an organ designed to produce and offer a newborn calf easy access to its mother's milk. So it is positioned as a place, so it is easy for the calf to drink. The positioning is done correctly. This is milk composition of different species. So we are skipping this, more scientific. In calf less than 6 months, the 4 chambers of stomach are not fully developed. So the cow has 4 stomach chambers. This is just for us to know. But in the calf, it is not fully developed, so it is not ready to eat grass. So it needs mother's milk. So because the 4 chambers are not fully developed, and if the calf is fed from the bucket, then it is not appropriate because it will fall in the previous stomachs also. This will cause indigestion to the calf. But when it is sucking directly from the udder, it flows directly into the last part of the stomach. So sucking from teeth is the natural behavior. Milk goes straight to the last chamber, bypassing the first 3 chambers. This is good information from World Health Organization, Child Growth Standard. What they say is, in humans, the growth potential of human milk, so when a mother is feeding the child, so a baby's age is 0 to 4 months, the average weight gain is 155 to 241 grams per week. When the child grows from 4 to 6 months, it is 92 to 126 grams per week. And between 6 months to 12 months, the growth is 50 grams to 80 grams per week. So this is the growth potential of mother's milk for a child in humans. This is as per World Health Organization. So it is acceptable for some babies to gain 4 to 5 ounces per week. The average breastfed baby doubles birth weight by 3 to 4 months, and by 1 year the typical breastfed baby will weigh about 2.5 to 3 times the birth weight. This is normal standard with humans. Now we will discuss about the calf. What is the daily weight gain of a calf? Would anybody like to guess? This is about humans we just discussed. How much a calf can gain weight just by drinking its mother's milk? Any guess? Huh? In kgs? Achha, good. Growth potential of cow's milk. To grow the calf to 10 times its birth weight in 9 to 10 months, that is greater than 1 kg per day. So calf can gain minimum 1 kg per day. 1 kg I am talking about. If we put on 1 kg, just imagine, we will go mad. So, but it has to gain 1 kg to remain healthy. To attain puberty by attaining 65 to 70% of adult weight in 9 to 10 months. So, meaning thereby, in 10 months, the calf is ready to become mother already. But in our existing system, they are so undernourished that they remain heifers till 5 years, 4 years. They are not in a bodily strength to bear a calf. So that is the loss we are making in the whole system by separating the cow and the calf. And ensures disease-free, healthy life for both mother and the calf. When they stay together, both are healthy. So this is average age of puberty given in different species, just for our reference. What is calf share? Now, how much we should give to the calf? Actually, this needs no education. Any species has the first right on its own mother's milk. But because here we have some other considerations, so we need to learn this. Otherwise, there is no need to discuss this even. It is that quantity of milk which, when consumed by the calf, it attains the optimum growth. What is that optimum growth? Minimum 1 kg growth. The optimum weight gain is greater than 1 kg per day. This is best achieved by calf and healthy cow being together at least 12 hours a day. Studies show that such calf gives 10% more than their mothers. So when a calf gets this facility of being with the mother, rather the privilege of being with the mother, if it has a good caretaker, then her productivity will be better, at least by 10% more than mother. This is showing separated and starved calves. They have hairy skin, a sign of malnourishment. Contextual milk practice. This is Madre method. Madre is mother, it means mother. The unencumbered suckling of a calf on its own biological dam from birth to the age of 10 months. So till first 10 months, it needs free access to the mother. And the excess milk only is milked. So what is left after the calf has drank is for us. He should be fully contented first. Then what is left is for us. It produces the healthiest, strongest, most disease-resistant, most resilient cows. If we follow this system, you don't need medicines to take care of cows. Today, I don't know how many of you are aware of, most of the projects taking care of cows in the world, they need doctors to take care of the cows. And the only single reason, or rather the only reasons we know is separating the cow and the calf and separating the cow from the land. If you integrate these two, then you don't need doctors to take care of cows. Because if you go to the forest, for no species you have doctors there and everybody is quite healthy. They are living their life peacefully with their families. No separation of child and mother is happening there. So Atharva Veda, this is a shlok which says that nature's element, the sun's atmospheric air and cloud, along with soil, are responsible for excellent desirable qualities. So now we can understand what it means. So what it says that to get desirable quality of milk, what we need is soil. So it is written here. Soil is needed, and what are the elements required is sun, atmospheric air and cloud. This is our ecosystem, what we just discussed. So if this is followed, the brick count will increase in the grass. So the quality is going up. So the connection between the photosynthetic capacity of grazing land and the photosynthesis of the grass on the quality and quantity of milk produced by the cow, it is directly related. If the quality of grass will increase, the milk production in quantity will increase, the milk production in quality will increase. It will be more nutritional. If the cow is been fed grass with bricks above 14, 15, 20, then the milk will be also like that. So these are some suggestions in generally how to arrange this milking arrangement. So milk only once a day, preferably 5 in the morning. Allow the calf to be with the mother till 5 p.m. So till morning till evening, 12 hours he stays with the mother. So he gets his share of milk. Now you can separate the calf from the mother to milk again early in the morning. or any system of milking you follow should exhibit the growth potential of milk in the calf, that is minimum 1 kg. You can do whatever you like. This is just suggested method. That you milk morning 5 o'clock, then keep the calf with the mother till the whole day, evening 5 o'clock, 12 hours, then again you separate them and you milk again in the morning. That is one suggested way. But now last point says that you follow whatever method you want to follow, but it should ensure that the calf is growing at least 1 kg a day. That is minimum we require to keep the cow and calf healthy. This is a study done by a Norwegian Veterinary Institute. The conclusions are same. When the calf and the cow stays together, the health is better for both of them, the production of milk in the next generation increases, and the result shows that the growth was up to 1.3 kg per day, even more than 1 kg. Before adopting contextual milking practice, so the calves are generally staying separate in most of the arrangement, and when they were kept together, just after 3 months they became so peaceful. They are the same. See the change in the body, change in the color, tone of the skin, is so shiny now. And the weight gain recorded was 1.1 kg per day to 1.7 kg per day it went. Again, left side is calves when they were separated, and on the right when they start staying together. This and this is the same calf. In 3 months it grown so big. Being separated from their mother, after 1 month of being with their mother 12 hours a day. See, this is hairy coat, looks very weak. They are growing better now. Left is before when they were kept separate, after they were kept together. This is very important to understand now. In an organic farm, the social life of the cows and calf is given high priority. So, mother is not only to feed us, right? Generally, what we see today is we take the calf to the cow just to drink milk for some momentary minutes or some time, But mother is not just to feed. It is much more than that. So, being with the mother means more than just access to the milk. She will lick the calf will learn. They have their own family life. They stay together. They might be teaching each other, learning each other. They might be playing. It's not about eating, right? So that aspect is totally ignored today. And that leads to a lot of stress, both in the cow and the calf, and so they are always diseased. And even if this stress is okay for us, if we stay fine, we were okay, but this is given stress to us. Because we are consuming a product derived from a stress system. The milk is coming from the cow who is in stress. Then how can we be stress free? It's not possible. So it is not just about milk. See how they are lying together. So peaceful. When the calf is with the mother, it looks such a peaceful life they have. But when they are separate, they are crying, they are looking for each other, all those things is going on 24 hours. So because here the calf and the cow stay together, now you cannot know who is the calf and who is the mother. He has grown so big, the bull. See on the left side is the calf, the bull calf. Grown bigger than the mother already. So this is the potential of cow's milk. So we discussed that excess milk is for us in the previous slide. Now what is excess milk? We are discussing that. Excess milk can be obtained from cows which are consuming fodder with high brick level, as a result of which the milk production is more. Because they are consuming grass with high brick count, the production of the milk will be more than the requirement of the calf. So we will get excess milk. That is situation number 1. Situation number 2, excess milk which is obtained from the cows which are consuming fodder with high brick level, as a result of which the milk quality is also high, resulting in the calf being satisfied with less milk. Because now the calf is getting nutrient rich milk he cannot drink it all. He is satisfied by drinking less. So there is excess milk for us. Whose calves by consuming fodder with high milk level, as a result of which the calf being satisfied with less milk. So now, because the calf is moving with the mother, he also learns grazing with the mother, and now he can't decide to eat grass or to drink milk, because both is very nutritional. The grass is also very high nutritional and the milk is also nutritional. So there is excess milk for us. Fourth, the calf is sick. So when the calf is sick, he cannot drink enough, so there is excess milk. And last, when the calf is separated, this is what we see in general. The calf is separated, so we are getting excess milk today. Otherwise, there is no excess milk possible in the current degraded soil status. So the milk available for purchase today is the milk obtained by separating the calf. Breeding against the whole. So because the focus is just milk, so we are just focusing on the milk aspect, so it is creating more and more diseases for the cows. And when we bred the cows for more milk, their health lifespan get reduced. So the average life is now 4 to 5 years in India for the cows, which has to be minimum 15 years. But because they are bred just for milk, the average life is going down and it has reached to the level of 4 to 5 years. Udder couldn't produce more milk because of mastitis. Because the cow and the calf are separated, this is a disease to the udder which is called mastitis, which is very painful to the cow, and that is increasing. Most of the goshalas you will see this. They got infected with incurable diseases like TB, brucellosis, and John's diseases. So these are different kind of diseases which have happened in the past and are happening now. Dairy becoming unprofitable for the producer. None of the people who are keeping cows for milk as a business are profitable. Culling flourished, so they have to keep removing the unproductive animals. This is how they keep their dairy business profitable. They are culling the animals. When you stop giving the milk, they remove it. So all these are unintended consequence of a wrong decision taken. We should breed only for a healthy herd, which will ensure lifespan, profitable dairying, disease-free herd, and cow care will manifest. So this should be our context of breeding the cows, not otherwise. This diagram is more on the scientific side, but the last line I will read. A liter of milk is produced as 500 liters of blood passes through the mammary gland. So a lot of work the cow has to do to produce milk. 500 liters of milk, the blood rotates in the mammary gland just to produce 1 liter of milk. It's a lot of work she is doing. This is mastitis. It is very painful condition in milking cows, and the reason is separating the calf from the mother. That's the only reason. We will discuss here ahimsa milk. Definition given to the ahimsa milk now available in the market. Slaughter free. We understand that the cows are not sent to slaughter. No cows or bulls were either killed or exploited to produce it. As per Bhagavad-Gita, ahimsa means that one should not do anything which will put other into misery or confusion. This is given in one of the purport of Bhagavad-Gita. So the definition of ahimsa is this: we cannot even give mental agony or disturbance to anybody. Few of the exploitation done to the cows to produce and market milk. Number one, they are stall fed. No grazing is allowed. This is one of the abuse or exploitation. Number two, feeding cows in the go shauchalayas, meaning thereby we are feeding the cows where they are passing stool and urine. We are housing the cows where they are passing stool and urine. So this is abuse to them. There are slokas in the Shastra which says that a cow is happy to be starving than to be eating grass where she has to smell her dung and urine. And this is quite common sense. Even if we make an arrangement in human society with an AC bathroom and making somebody eat there, he cannot eat. It's not possible. But this has been forced on these cows to do. Calf separated from their mother is another abuse. Impregnating a cow in milk. So this is I don't know how many of you are aware of this. When a cow is pregnant, pregnant cow's milk can't be offered to the Lord. But today the practice followed everywhere is as soon as the cow delivers a calf, the milk starts coming, and the next month she is impregnate again. So she is having one calf in the stomach and one outside. Such cow's milk cannot be offered to the Lord. So, impregnating a cow in milk, this is what it means. And last is castration of bulls. That is also exploitation. So when we are free from all this abuse, it can be termed as ahimsa milk. What we follow today is a very limited definition, where the cow is not sent to slaughter. This is what we understand from ahimsa milk. But it has much more to it. Weaning means separating the cow from the cow and the calf. When the calf is drinking milk, when the calf has to be separated, this is a big question everybody has. So, the simple answer is the mother should decide that. So, it is between the calf and the mother. The mother knows till what time she should feed the calf. After that, she will remove the calf from, she will not allow it to drink milk. So, it is between them to decide. We have nothing to do in that. We have no role in that. This sloka was taken yesterday, 117.3, the major three problems. If you want to solve this problem of farming and cow protection, if we want to make our life healthy, if we want to make our soils regenerative, this is a bare minimum thing we have to do. Keeping the cow and the calf together, keeping the cow connected to the land. And to do that, we need civilized people. Consequences of separating calf. So when we are separating the calf, what we will get? We will get a milk which is derived forcibly and will result into innumerable incurable diseases. This is what we are seeing already, right? We have milk, but the diseases are increasing and they are incurable. Milk as it is means we have to drink milk as we get from the cow, because it is already warm, it is good to drink, and that is amrit after the calf has drank it. What is left is amrit, and it decreases the vata. It is, as per Ayurveda, it increases down the increased vata. Now this is very important. So now something about cows we have learned, something about farms we have learned. Now here we are discussing the farm effect. Why farm life is important. Just eating organically grown food or properly procured milk is not enough. They have done an experiment where they could not find after 20 years what keeps children healthy when they are grown on the farm. This is what they are talking in this video. Sorry. Oh, I forgot to connect the video. So just purchasing and consuming processed milk shall not give what the cow and her milk has for us. Maybe on the... But the milk we purchase now is pasteurized toned milk, pasteurized standardized milk, skimmed milk, this milk, that milk. The milk you consume should be free from milk of pregnant cows, milk of cows in heat, milk of diseased cows, calf share of milk, milk of underfed cows, and milk of stall-fed cows. So these are all abuses done to the cows today. If it is free from that, then it will give you good health. Otherwise, it is milk in name. It is not the real milk which is talked about in the Shastra, which is compared to Amrit. This is some instances of the pain Mother Yashoda felt when Krishna was separated from her. When he jumped in this Yamuna to kill Kaliya, the pain Mother Yashoda felt is compared to the pain felt by a cow when the calf is separated. Even when Ramchandra went to Vanvas, again the same instance was compared, where the mother felt the pain like the cow feels when the calf is separated. Both instances, in Ram Leela also and Krishna Leela also. So it is a deep pain for the mother. For economic viability in a dairy enterprise, timely culling of unproductive cows is the key factor to the economic viability. So whoever are doing dairy business, they are profitable because they are culling animals. If they will keep all the animals, even if they are productive or unproductive, it is not possible to sustain. If not culled, 70 to 75% of the herd shall be non-producers. This is normal. If you have a herd of 100, maximum 25 or 30 animals will be giving milk. 70 will be not. Hence, dairy and culling are complementary. Cows are our resource. Only when the resource is not used for its function, it will get culled. So this is what we discussed in the beginning. When the resource is used for its utility only and not for its function, it will become unsustainable. So culling is going on. Culling of cow is the waste of that community essential resource. So we see the cows loitering around. This is functional extinction. Who is performing their function today? We are using machineries to do that. Otherwise cows could graze. Any amount of land they can clean by grazing. But because we are not using them, so we have to employ labor, tractors, technologies, fire, so many things. GDP needn't be the true indicator of prosperity of a nation. So this also we discussed on the first day. The real sign of prosperity is happy cows. So if the milk and milk product consumed in a nation comes by separating of the cow and the calf, and by separating the cow from the landscape, it doesn't indicate prosperity in the system, as it indicates desertifying the landscape. So by separating this, we have spoiled our landscape. The fertility has gone. We have livelihood to make money, which is not possible. Which is not possible. People are losing money. People have sold their land. People have committed suicides. Just take an example. They have to sell their produce, wheat for example, for 25 rupees a kg, 20 rupees a kg. And what you pay for the biscuits? 150 rupees a kg, 200 rupees a kg. They sell their sugar cane for 4 rupees a kg. What are you paying for sugar? 40 rupees a kg. So these poor farmers, they are selling their produce at a lesser price and buying the products at a higher price. How can they sustain? So if we are thinking to shift on the farm life, then we have to disconnect ourselves today from these factory products. That is the first start. Otherwise, you will get produce from the land if you shift on the land, but you won't be able to survive your lifestyle because you are still depending on those factory products. And it is clearly condemned in Bhagavad-Gita and also in Bhagavatam, any factory product. But it is a big shift required in us, very big shift, very difficult to do it, I am telling you, in the kind of environment we are in. Just think, is it possible? It's possible, yes.
Yes.
Good.
Yes. And after hearing this session, I would like to add 2 more things. Like I said, I am from South India. So I always used to wonder why Lord Narayana is always having Lakshmi Devi as a Shri Devi and Bhu Devi on this another side. After hearing him, I understand they both are equal, Bhumi Devi and Lakshmi Devi. If you respect Bhumi Devi, Lakshmi Devi will follow.
Yes.
Also in Bhagavatam, we used to read in here Bilva Swarga, that is under earth. Bilva Swarga is more opulent than the actual Swarga up. So after hearing you again, I revived my all this learning in more practical way, I say it. And I do have done some sort of varnashram dharma, living on land. We have a land 365 acres in Tamil Nadu near Dharampuri. So
365 acres, I think we all can go there.
We were about to settle, we were developing and was settling with Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj wanted to have a varnashram dharma there. Then they shifted to Salem. Then one of the group shifted to Karmandurai. So I have an experience, but now my exposure is all my own because nobody is giving me their feedback.
Right.
So now I can connect and can do something practical here in Vrindavan, because that land is owned by my husband.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, we will take him before.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. My question is in relation to the milk session we had at the end. You started off with explaining the definition of milk, and by the way, disclaimer, I'm not a vegan, so it's not a pro-vegan argument I'm asking. My question is simply, the definition said the milk is defined as something that is for that same species, and then we also went on to say that the growth potential of the cow's milk is significantly higher than human milk. And I know you also talked about humans only consuming excessive milk left over, but I didn't really see much description or definition around why is cow milk actually beneficial for the humans? Why do actually humans need cow's milk other than not having sufficient milk from their mothers initially in their growth years? Is there any other reasons prescribed or explained somewhere?
Good question. So, cow's milk, as defined in the scriptures, is linked with nectar, as we hear from Srimad Bhagavatam. And even the saints used to go to the house of the householders at the time of milking and just collect little milk and survive on that. So, they were living such a simple life, and just a little milk would satisfy them, because it was coming from these whole principles as we just heard. The Mother Earth was taken care of, the plants were growing healthy, the animals were not abused. So what the humans were getting was very, very nutritional thing. So there was excess always. What we see today in terms of veganism is an unintended consequence of a wrong decision taken, and that wrong decision is separating the cow from the calf and separating cow from Mother Earth. But originally, as we discussed Yudhishthira Maharaj's regime, the milk was always excess. The calf was always with the mother. Still there was excess. So the milk was derived to perform yagyas. They needed ghee, so they were making ghee out of it. They would use milk for their sustenance, but it was very minimal. It was not like what we see today. Milk we need, dahi we need, paneer we need, cheese we need, butter we need, and number of sweets we eat. It is not good for health. Our body is not fit to consume so much of milk products. But because of our conditioning, that consumption of milk product will keep us healthy, this is a propaganda. So people have started consuming it without any limits. But it is consumed like a nectarian product. Even little is enough. Even Charnamrita is enough to keep us healthy. If that is the whole item which we are procuring for the Charnamrita, for bathing the deities, is coming with this process. But this whole cycle is disconnected. So these veganism principles, we are not vegans. We cannot promote that. It is not. But it is, what we have to learn is, it is an unintended consequence. Because it started now, it is alarming in the whole world that abuse is happening now. And that's a reality. Abuse is happening. But then the solution is what? Solution is not just depriving or stopping from doing anything. Solution is start regenerating your soils. That is the solution. Let them be together, mother and the calf. And then if there is excess, there is no abuse, there is no cruelty. Then there is no problem. Coming to the question, what is the need? So it depends on person to person what he wants to eat. Like I don't drink milk and milk product. It is my decision. Somebody might be consuming. So food pattern varies from person to person. Somebody survives on fruits. Somebody survives on vegetables. Somebody wants grains, a lot of grains in the meal. Somebody consumes soups and salads. So what you consume is left to you. What the principle given in Bhagavad-Gita is, what is sattva guni ahar. So we are all supposed to consume sattva guni ahar, which is wholesome, juicy, fatty, and satisfying to the heart. This is a definition given in Bhagavad-Gita. So it is nowhere mentioned that you should eat apple a day keeps a doctor away. Scripture is not like that. Scripture is giving principle. Method you have to choose as per your situation. If you are in, for example, Uttar Pradesh, there is no apple growing here. That means nobody in Uttar Pradesh is healthy? No. What grows here, you should consume that. So our scriptures are giving principles, not a specific eating pattern. So what you question, milk is not necessary. If you don't want to consume, you don't consume. It is left to you. But if somebody wants to consume milk, we should not stop them. What we are trying to preach is follow the principle. It should not be abusive. To get your food, you cannot exploit others. That is the principle we are teaching here. Does it make it clear or? It's your decision. If you want to stay healthy, and if you want to stay healthy, what we understand, this milk, what is available in the market, is not going to give you health. So it's your decision what you want to do. It's absolutely individual decision. It can't be imposed on the community. Like, for example, we are all ISKCON devotees, so it is recommended, highly recommended, to wake up in the Brahma Muhurta, attend Mangal Arati, chant our 16 rounds. But if somebody is not doing, what will we do? We can't remove him from the community. It is about everything. It is about everything in our life. Everything is a self-decision. Even the whole Bhagavad-Gita is a decision-making exercise. Arjuna could not take a decision what to do. And Krishna inspired him, guided him correctly, and then left it to him. Right? He didn't say, abhi ladna hi padega. Krishna didn't say that. What he says? Whatever you want to do, you do, Baba. So discretion is, free will is given to us. Now, given a situation, given an understanding, given your level of consciousness, you will take a decision what you want to do in this situation. And that decision should take you to your context. What is the context of your life? That is the most important thing we should be remembering with every single decision we take. Otherwise, we will keep taking decision. Someday we are going towards our context, someday we are going on the side. Like someday if he is using chemical in the land, and someday some year he is not using, then he cannot do this test before us. He is following the principle continuously, consistently, satatam. So we can't make like what it is up to you. After understanding, whatever level of understanding you have derived, you have to take a decision now.
Thank you. I have a couple of comments. Firstly, I was just going to mention, I don't know, you may know currently what the statistics are, but I do believe in, at least in America, I think it's actually more than 50% of all the grain grown in America is actually fed to cows for beef. That's really, really sad. I mean, you know, when we're speaking ugra karma, that is a huge, I don't know how to describe it, so just thought I'd mention that. One other thing with, I noticed you did discuss topsoil depletion, you know, like in relation to water, but you didn't speak so much about what we call erosion itself, you know, because erosion actually affects not only the topsoil, it affects like whole landscapes. Yes. Can end up being, you know, actually washed away. And erosion globally, especially in Australia, where I've spent a lot of time, erosion is a huge problem, you know, as well as salination is another huge problem. But just in relation to this, I was going to mention, because, you know, as you had very nicely presented, that like in a healthy functioning ecosystem, all the parts are connected and they are functioning as one. So I was thinking, you know, the sort of dichotomy of that is that in an unhealthy ecosystem, all of these horrible things like desertification and salination and erosion, they all seem to impact on each other as well, you know, because on one of the screens you asked the question, well, does drought cause barren land, or does barren land cause drought? And to my understanding, they all impact on each other. Sadly, you know, all of these, shall we say, destructive elements within an ecosystem, often they are all sort of connected. But just very quickly, the last point, sorry. Just towards the end of today's presentation, when you were speaking about the cows, and down the bottom of the screen, I think you had a statement that said, you know, like cows are our resource. And, you know, like I've spent a lot of time covering, like in academics, what they call animal rights debates, you know, globally, you know, and there are some very good points put forward by academics who actually do care for animals and who actually do want to protect them. And there is a famous dichotomy. It goes, well, you know, human beings, we can actually appreciate animals in two ways. One is that we appreciate animals for their intrinsic value. That means the value that the animals have in and for themselves. The other one is to appreciate them for their instrumental value. In other words, what can that animal do for me? You know, so I'm thinking, you know, to identify mother cow as a resource, it may be sort of dangerous, because then we are thinking more about, you know, what mother cow, or any other animals for that reason, what they can do for us, rather than, you know, what she is in herself. She has value in and for herself, rather than just being a utility for us. Yeah, I was wondering if you could comment a little bit on that last point.
Okay, so yeah, it's a good comment. Thank you for bringing up that soil erosion point. We missed out that. It's a big problem. We were talking desertification, and soil erosion is runoff of the water. It is happening with rainfall and with air also, because it is all dirt around now. Even air causes a lot of soil erosion now. And soil erosion is more than what we produce food today. So they quantify 10 times. We produce 10 times eroding soil than we produce food today. In tonnage description, the figures are published like that. And regarding the other part of resource, looking at the cows as resource and not as if they are living their intrinsic life for their own benefit, and then maybe what they are useful to us. So yes, everything we are viewing here is as a resource in the service of the whole, not for us. When we talk resource, but because it's a normal understanding we have, when we look anything as a resource, we think, oh, it is for me. But here, nothing is for us. We are the end beneficiary in the system. This is how the system is designed. Even though we are trying to use every single thing for our advantage, the result is we are still suffering. Our diseases have increased, our problems have increased, our lifespan are decreasing, our stress in the life has increased. So when we term here anything as resource, it is resource in the system, not to our advantage. So we are talking that we want to give them a good environment, a natural habitat where they live with their family. So the whole principles are to protect the rights of these animals, not only for the cows, but all the single species that is existing. So this is the understanding about the word resource in our presentation particularly. Thank you. Here and then here.
Prabhuji, just want one question with Prabhuji. That organic produces, these are very costly. If I buy, because I am from the Muscat, Oman, so I am using all the cold storage food and all. So whenever I go for the organic foods, like a 24 mantra and all, we are getting products. It's a very costly. So is there any idea you have that we can make a comparable prices with the unorganic food? Is it possible in this current scenario?
So my experience I started doing chemical-free farming or natural farming. So first few harvests, yield is very low. And since I was not coming from a farming background, though I come from a farming family, so understanding of the farming ecosystem is very, very different from anybody. Though I got a lot of inputs from my family, so understanding what is suited for that particular ecosystem, that particular land, that particular water is very important. So the traditional farmers, so if somebody is coming from outside and growing food, even with a lot of reading and knowledge and training, it is difficult for him to produce at low cost and achieve high yields. But if somehow we are able to achieve converting traditional farmers from conventional farming to natural farming, they have that inbuilt knowledge of what else they have gathered and understanding of the ecosystem. My personal experience about my land, I was trying to grow a lot of produce which are not grown in that belt in the initial few years. So slowly I understood what can be grown and what cannot be grown, and that's how yield was coming to almost equivalent to the conventional ones. Though not kind of equal, but it is nearing now to this thing. The price difference is more of a demand-supply issue. Because we do not have many natural farmers, and hopefully we'll have in future, because this cognizance is developing among the consumers as well as among the farmers, like we are kind of wasting our land, we are wasting our health on everything, right, because of this conventional farming. Just for your knowledge, so my family for 30 years, we have been eating natural grain and not conventional grain. So almost all farmers who have decent land, they grow their own food separately, and food that is to be sold, that is grown separately. And they don't eat what they sell, they don't sell what they eat. So as this cognizance increase that this is an ecosystem, this is a lifestyle, and I think there was a point around convincing the farmers. So I have been talking to a lot of farmers to shift from conventional to natural ways of doing things. So the problem is the patience part. Shifting to natural and bringing about the same outcome and sustaining lifestyle, it will happen, but it will take some time. So they are not ready to kind of wait for, say, 2-3 years to be able to have same kind of earning from the land. So my hope and prayer is that it will certainly come down. It has drastically come down. We have statistics, we have been following this market also. For past 3-4 years, prices have been drastically coming down because current government is talking a lot about natural farming, and a lot of farmers are now thinking and actively thinking and turning towards natural farming. So let's hope that things will be better and we'll save Mother Earth through this natural ecosystem that we create.
I would like to add something to this. This
So
costing part is coming in because we are putting a lot of input cost. What we learned today, inputs are all free. And once we farm for our family, there is no concept of commerciality left. As he said, everybody is growing for their own things and they have a separate thing for selling, right? So every single farmer, being you and being me, we should grow for our family. And then what is excess, we should sell. So this question of comparative analysis won't come. But because today we are just becoming consumers and not trying to be the other side, the producers, number one, we are giving away more money, and number two, we don't know what we are getting on top of it. Because so somebody asked, how to check, are there other measures? Because we are struggling to ensure that this is the correct thing we are eating. How many of them are genuine? We don't know. So the ultimate direction is taking us to yes. Yes, Prabhu.
So Prabhu, another question is like we are in the right forum, and since this is noble cause, we are getting so much knowledgeable information and all. So is this possible that we can make a WhatsApp group and then people can
It is
throw the
already there
ideas? No, not.
Everybody is not there. Where is Jugal Prabhu? No, we already have a WhatsApp group.
He told he will create it.
Who all are there on the WhatsApp group? Please raise your hand. On the WhatsApp group, we have made a WhatsApp group for this. So who all are not there, please give your number to Simple Living High Thinking. So you can give your number to Jugal, the devotee. Come, please, आगे आ जाइए आप. Please come here. So you can circulate the file. They can write their name and number, and he will do it.
And Prabhu, with this, that if we can form a community, and maybe some can be perform a role of the farmer, and some can be through idea in this supply chain logistics and all, and maybe make it a commercial this thing to basically it's for the community at large, because those who are not doing farming, like me, I'm not a farmer, but I'm working in a multinational company, so that maybe I can also just consume those products and do a marketing for that.
No, you are right. So, but that will be depending on the temple management, how they will go about.
Yeah, like that 24 mantra is a very famous product.
Yeah.
So, so similar to that,
but we have gathered to do something. So that is for sure. We are not going to just end it after the session. We want to do something practical, right? Otherwise, what is the fun in discussing?
That's what the
Everybody will say amazing, amazing, wonderful, wonderful, and then forget. Right? Somebody here? You? You and then you.
So, Hare Krishna, thank you for everything. My question is, when we enter in a land which was eroded, what are the first steps to do?
Okay. So when we enter into a land which is already eroded or not in a good health, what is the first step? The first step is to cover the soil. It starts from there. So say for example, you are starting in the dry season when there is no rain. So you just cover it with, as I gave the example of that peels of oranges, you just cover it, and when the rain will come, things will start shaping up. First and foremost step is to cover the soil. That is the first thing. Without that, nothing will manifest. But that will be discussed in length tomorrow, the whole step-by-step process, step 1, step 2, step 3.
And is it possible to protect the new plant and from the cows by planting, like you said, thorn bushes with thorn around the gardens and to let the cows around? Or is it always obligatory to put fence?
Yeah, initially, we will see this also tomorrow. There will be separate area for grazing and separate area for cropland. So in the growing season, the cows are on the pasturing field, and in the dry season, they will be on our cropland eating the residue, what is left after harvesting. But tomorrow we will discuss at length.
Hare Krishna. I'm sorry, maybe I will have a cruel question, I'm sorry for that, and maybe tomorrow we will discuss this topic, but what are we going to do with all the bulls? Because mother cow, I understand, and the calf, but what are we going to do with all the bulls? Because as Prabhu said, the farmers have their inbuilt knowledge. So I used to be in the horse business, and I mean, when you have a stallion which is just too wild to handle, you don't want to kill it. And that it's a practical way to castrate, and then you can still make good use. And also, I mean, practically, you cannot keep these bulls together. So it's like a big, you need a lot of land. So this is my question.
Good question. So as per our understanding, the function of cows and bulls is same, is to graze. So bulls have to also perform their function of grazing. They also break the soil, they also put their dung, they also put the urine. It is equally effective, it's not only cows. So just by the movement of these cows and the bulls, agriculture manifests. But how to move them is a science. Because people have not understood this, Krishna was practically demonstrating how to move the cows. So we will be learning that also tomorrow, how to move these animals, so that the soil develops. If they are not moved properly, the soil will be spoiled also. There are instances, if you go to some villages, I have seen in Gujarat, the grazing lands are almost like barren soil, 365 days. The cows are going there every day. But it is because the cows are uncovering the soil. So the grazing has a principle where you never uncover the soil even despite of grazing. So the whole grazing aspect will be taken tomorrow. Tomorrow might be a little longer session, maybe 15-20 minutes more, but tomorrow we'll finish. Tomorrow is the last day. So that will be covered. So function of bulls is also grazing. There is no other function set for them. All the animals who graze, herbivores, right? Goats, sheep, buffaloes, the bisons, cows, they are all function is just to graze. They have to move in herd and keep recycling the biomass that is growing. How to manage them is our job. So the herders are the most important community. And so Krishna was the coward boy. He was teaching the most important science of grazing. So we will try to touch little bit tomorrow. But to understand the function of bulls is also grazing, and castration is not allowed. No, even here, but even non-castrated bulls are used to work. If you go in South India, they don't castrate the bulls. They use non-castrated bulls for farming also, and they work well. It is all about training. When you start them training for a particular service, they behave accordingly. I mean, we were doing in our farm, but I don't know if somebody is really teaching. But my experience is just staying with them, and once they are allowed to be stress-free, and they are stress-free when they are on the land, when they are with their families, when they get enough to eat and enough to drink water, then they are never harming you, never. The most wild bulls I have seen, they have become so docile. But because they are generally kept tied in an area, they are always smelling their dung and urine, so they are always disturbed, they are always in stress. And when we go near them, they behave irrationally. So we have to create a natural habitat for them, and that natural habitat is giving them access to land.
Hello.
I think
Hare.
I have a meeting now. We will take this last question.
It's coming to the cows. Actually, nowadays people don't know exactly what the cows is. They consider Jersey as a cow also. Even National Dairy Development Board, where I work for some long time, they are promoting this Jersey milk as a cow milk, and everywhere we getting outside is actually Jersey milk, which is considered a cow. What we are getting from Amul and all these things, they are selling Jersey milk as a cow milk. So we should be in even Western countries also, in Denmark and all other places, they are having cows, and it's actually Jersey as a cow they consider. Actually, it's wrong.
Actually, what I have understood is you cannot get a healthy milk from an unhealthy cow. So it's a Deshi cow or a Videshi cow or a Jersey cow or a Gir cow. If she is unhealthy and if she is not treated properly as per the system, then whatever milk you get is unhealthy. So,
but Jersey milk is not for the human being. Actually, that milk is actually like a poison, but we are considering it.
What we discussed here, the milk which is derived forcibly from the cow is like a poison. So when you keep the cow and the calf separated and you acquire that milk, it is poison.
That's true, that's all right. But first of all, cow, what is the definition cow? That's the main thing. The Jersey is also nowadays considered as a cow. That's not, that should not be.
Jersey is also a breed of a region, like Swiss Brown is a cow, Holstein Friesian is a breed, Jersey is also a breed. So it's a natural breed, but it is good for that locality where it has taken birth. If we import it, or if you say Gir cow from here, if you take to Canada, you can't take benefit of that cow.
Because there is a milk, means there are A grade and A1 grade, A2
yeah.
like that. There are different qualities of them.
So we are defining it. we are defining it very clearly. Healthy milk means milk derived from healthy cow. And who is healthy cow? Who is grazing on healthy grass. And where is healthy grass? Which is growing on healthy soil. So if this is not following, then all other principles are of no use.
Okay, but what I am saying that it should be cow. We can't say that, other animals' milk as a cow. It should not be cow's milk.
This is what I am telling. There are natural breeds. This HF, Holstein Friesian, is a natural breed. Swiss Brown is a natural breed. Jersey is also a natural breed.
Jersey is a natural. I don't think so. It's a hybrid thing. Hybrid.
Hybrid
made
is
from the,
if you breed Tharparkar cow with a Gir cow, it becomes hybrid. That is happening in India also.
But from cow to cow, that's all right, hybrid cow. But cow made from, some other animals from.
Not other animals from is not possible. It is a myth. How can we create a species which is not created by Krishna? We cannot create it.
No, but we are calling that as cow. That's the problem.
Because it is created by Krishna, it is cow.
No. I'm saying a Jersey as a cow we are considering. That's not a...
Jersey is a cow.
No, it's not a cow.
Anyways, there is lot of propaganda like this, but it is not very scientific.